The Pure Grappler. In the beginning, the UFC was a trap, a setup for the punchers to lose. Royce Gracie entered UFC, one looking like someone's cousin from Sao Paulo, skinny gi, no muscles, and one plan: pull guard, take the back, end the fight. He did it to everyone. In under 5 minutes, he turned the toughest guys in America into spectators from the bottom position. That was the first time fans saw jiu-jitsu as a system, not just submissions, but control. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't even violent, but it worked. From there, the blueprint evolved. Wrestlers joined the party. They didn't care about arm bars. They wanted top control. Matt Hughes would lift people, walk them across the cage, and spike them like gym bags. It was domination by positioning. Smother, suffocate, score. Mark Coleman made it ugly. His ground and pound wasn't strategy, it was force. Takedown, posture, drop hammer fists until the ref got uncomfortable. That became its own style. Then came fighters like Demian Maia and Fabricio Werdum, high-level jiu-jitsu guys who didn't try to hide it. If they got the fight down, it was over. Period. Maia's whole career was built on dragging opponents to the mat and squeezing them out. He didn't strike unless he had to, sometimes not at all. The beauty of the Pure Grappler is in how they erase the fight. They don't brawl, they don't chase knockouts, they just take away options. But this style has limits, and the sport figured that out. In the modern era, everyone trains takedown defense. Everyone drills the wizard, the sprawl, the cage walk. If a Pure Grappler can't get it to the ground, they get stuck. Ask Ryan Hall what happens when spinning into guard goes wrong. Ask Kron Gracie what happens when you try to recreate 1995 in 2020. Even Khabib, the gold standard of grappling dominance, wasn't a pure grappler in the traditional sense. His top game was relentless, but it wasn't just jiu-jitsu, it was cage wrestling. Mat returns, posture strikes. He'd wear you down with 20 little battles in one round, and that's why he succeeded, because he evolved. The game moved on from specialists, but the Pure Grappler still has a place, especially if they have a deep gas tank and enough striking to stay safe on the feet. Movsar Evloev, Bryce Mitchell, Gerald Meerschaert. They don't win with power, they win with pressure and position, one round at a time. It's not the flashiest style, but in a sport built on violence, the ability to shut someone down without throwing hands, that's power. The Pure Striker. This is the style fans show up for. Knockouts, footwork, clean technique. But for a long time, the UFC wasn't built for them. In the early days, strikers got taken down and embarrassed. Art Jimerson showed up with one boxing glove. He left without a clue. But the ones who survived learned fast. They worked on sprawling, circling out, staying on their feet at all costs. Because once a striker got to actually strike, things got ugly. In the best way. Enter Mirko Cro Cop, head kick from the left, legend from the right. His whole game was pressure, timing, and violence. If he kept the fight upright, someone went down. But when grapplers got him to the floor, it was a different story. He was lethal, but limited. Then came Anderson Silva, maybe the most complete version of a pure striker the UFC's ever seen. Muay Thai, boxing, Taekwondo. It didn't matter. Silva fought like a guy who already knew how it would end. He'd dodge punches by inches, counter with sniper shots, and make killers look like amateurs. His run from 2006 to 2012 was untouchable, but it came with a catch. When strikers start feeling invincible, they forget how close danger is. Silva clowned a little too hard and got caught by Chris Weidman. Stephen Thompson fought Darren Till and barely threw. Barboza, unreal kicks, but you pressure him and he folds. Pure strikers live and die by range. If they can manage distance, it's a masterpiece. But if their timing's off or the cage cuts them off, they get hunted. Even Israel Adesanya, who's arguably striking's final boss, had to learn that lesson. Against Jan Blachowicz, he moved up to light heavyweight and couldn't stop the takedown. Against Sean Strickland, he couldn't find the range and got jabbed to death. The problem isn't their hands or their feet. It's what happens when those tools get taken away. Striking is a weapon, but in MMA, it's also a gamble. If you're one-dimensional, you don't get to choose where the fight takes place. The pure striker is always one mistake away from the mat, and on the mat, they're tourists. But when they get it right, when it's clean, when it's clinical, there's no better way to end a fight. The Pressure Wrestler. This is the fighter you don't want in your face, not because they're dangerous on the feet, but because they never, ever go away. The pressure wrestler is a problem by design. They're not trying to hurt you, they're trying to break you. It starts with the takedown. Doesn't have to be clean, doesn't have to be pretty, they just need contact. Hips, cage, body lock, single leg, anything to get the fight to the floor. From there, it's minutes, not moments. Matt Hughes did it with power. Kamaru Usman did it with pace. Khabib Nurmagomedov turned it into total domination. Khabib didn't just take people down, he mauled them. Wrist rides, Dagestani handcuffs, shoulder pressure, constant mat returns. Even when guys stood up, it didn't matter. He put them right back down. Mentally, it was worse than a knockout. It was watching yourself lose in slow motion. But this style comes at a cost. Wrestling at this level burns gas. It's a cardiovascular tax most fighters can't pay for 5 rounds. Colby Covington tries. So does Mirab Dvalishvili. They shoot over a dozen times per fight. It works until someone times the shot or scrambles out and makes it ugly. Also, not every judge scores top control equally anymore. Damage matters more. Just laying on someone isn't enough if the opponent's throwing elbows off their back or getting back up every time. And striking, it's functional, not dangerous. Most pressure wrestlers use their hands as setups. They're not KO artists, which means against someone with elite takedown defense and real striking, like Leon Edwards against Usman in the rematch, it can all fall apart. Still, if you're not prepared for 15 minutes of suffocation, the fight's already lost. The counter striker. They don't chase, they don't swing first, they just wait, and when you make a mistake, they make it hurt. Counter strikers are the calm in the storm. They don't need volume, they need timing. Lyoto Machida built his career on this. Traditional karate stance, in and out movement, low output, but when you close the gap, he punished you. His knockout of Rashad Evans for the title was one of the cleanest counter shots in UFC history. Conor McGregor at his peak was pure precision. He'd bait opponents in, frame with his lead hand, and drop that left like a hammer. Jose Aldo found out in 13 seconds. Robert Whittaker is a high-volume version, bouncing in and out, drawing strikes to counter. Israel Adesanya might be the cleanest defensive striker in the game, using feints to create reactions and counters to control range. But here's the catch. This style needs cooperation. If your opponent doesn't overcommit, you don't have anything to punish. That's exactly what happened when Adesanya fought Yoel Romero. Neither man wanted to lead. The result? A staring contest. Counter strikers also risk falling behind on the scorecards. If they're too patient, they get outpointed. If they guess wrong, they eat the first shot. And when it goes wrong, it goes fast. Ask Anderson Silva, whose counter game backfired when he taunted Chris Weidman and got knocked cold. Ask McGregor, whose pull counter failed him against the pressure and volume of Dustin Poirier. The counter striker is a specialist. They make violence look effortless if the fight plays out on their terms. But MMA doesn't care about elegance. It cares about damage, control, and moments. If no one gives them the window, they might never throw. And if they wait too long, the fight passes them by. But when it works, it's art at full speed. The Clinch Fighter. This is the style that doesn't get the spotlight, but wrecks careers quietly. The Clinch Fighter lives in the middle distance. Not far enough for strikes, not close enough for takedowns, just close enough to make it miserable. Randy Couture made a Hall of Fame career out of it. Grab the underhook, pin to the cage, knee to the thigh, shoulder to the chin. It was simple, brutal, and impossible to stop once he got position. In the modern era, Kamaru Usman used it like a scalpel. He'd back guys up, shoot a half-committed takedown, and use the whizzer battle to trap them. Then he'd go to work. Body shots, foot stomps, short elbows, no space, no rhythm, no options. John Jones, same deal. When he wasn't throwing spinning elbows, he was crushing people in the collar tie, sneaking in elbows and knees while neutralizing power. This style kills momentum. It's not about huge moments. It's about minutes of control that add up fast. It works especially well against strikers who need space. You close the gap, take away their tools, and drain their cardio. Clinch specialists can flip a fight just by trapping someone in a corner of the cage and grinding, but it comes with real limitations. First, it's strength dependent. If your opponent is physically stronger or better in the clinch, like Leon Edwards against Usman in the third fight, you can't force it. Second, it's not damage heavy unless you've got serious skill inside. The UFC judging system doesn't always reward control if the damage isn't obvious, and the moment the clinch breaks, you're exposed. You've got to reset, avoid clean shots, and get back inside before the other guy finds his rhythm. The Chaos Brawler. This is the style fans love, but coaches lose sleep over. The Chaos Brawler doesn't fight by numbers, no setups, no safe entries, no plan B, just pressure, damage, and survival instincts. Justin Gaethje is the blueprint. He walks forward, throws low kicks and uppercuts with zero regard for his own health, and dares opponents to match the chaos. Most can't. Even when he loses, it's never boring. It's never clean. Robbie Lawler made it legendary. He fought like he was stuck in a bar fight that wouldn't end. The war with Rory McDonald, that wasn't a fight. That was two careers getting permanently altered in real time. Matt Brown, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, different flavors, same energy, volume, pressure, pain tolerance. These guys turn fights into wars and bet their chins will last longer. That's the game. Turn clean fighters dirty, make technicians panic, make wrestlers strike. Force everyone into the mess, but the downside is brutal. This style burns hot and fades fast. It depends on durability, and that doesn't last. Once the chin cracks, once the reflex is slow, it's over. Tony Ferguson went from unbeaten in 12 to losing 6 straight. Diego Sanchez went from wild man to cautionary tale. Even Gaethje had to adapt, learning to time shots instead of eating them. Chaos Brawlers don't age well, but while they last, they create moments no other style can. They lose rounds and win fights. They bleed early and laugh through it. They don't always get the belt, but they always get remembered. The complete fighter. This is what every fighter wants to be. Not a striker, not a wrestler, not a jiu-jitsu guy, just better. Everywhere. The complete fighter doesn't rely on one weapon. They use all of them, and they know when to switch. Georges St-Pierre was the gold standard. He started as a karate kid, but when Matt Hughes beat him with wrestling, he learned to out-wrestle the best wrestlers. He jabbed Josh Koscheck into double vision, he out-grappled BJ Penn, and he did it all without getting hit much. Demetrius Johnson turned it into rhythm, striking, takedowns, scrambles, submissions. He blended everything together until you couldn't tell where one phase ended and the next began. He didn't just win, he solved people. Amanda Nunes was the same. She could strike with Cyborg, wrestle with Tate, and grapple with Holm. Her toolbox was deeper, and she knew exactly which tool to use. What makes this style dangerous is adaptability. You can't game plan for one thing. Try to box them, they wrestle. Try to wrestle, they strike. Scramble, they take your back. They don't always finish fights, but they control them. The best complete fighters are problem solvers first, athletes second. But even this style isn't untouchable. GSP got dropped multiple times. Demetrius lost his belt by split decision. Amanda got caught by Juliana Pena the night she looked off. Being complete doesn't mean being invincible. It just means you have answers. Today, guys like Islam Makhachev, Leon Edwards, and Zhang Wei Li are carrying that flag. Not just good everywhere, elite everywhere. Not flashy, not wild, just hard to beat. The truth is, most fighters are still chasing this level. Some get close, few stay there. But in a sport that evolves every 6 months, being well-rounded isn't just an advantage, it's survival.